Man, it's been a while since I talked to this guy. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, Big O is back on the show. A lot of you guys have been asking me, whether down in the comment section or hit me up in DMs on Twitter or hit me up on Twitter. Hey, when are you going to talk to Big O again? When are you going to have Big O on the show again? Well, here you go. Getting ready for the season. I thought, why not bring him back on? We preview the season a little bit. And then in the video, we talk about what we have planned for the season when it comes to me and him collabing a little bit more. But before we jump into that, because again, it's a good conversation with me and Big O. We haven't talked in a minute, so this might be a lengthy one. I got to shout out some new patrons and new members. On the Patreon side, John Harris, G, and Jose Mora. Thank you guys so much for joining the Patreon. And on the member side, Dub MCZ. Thank you guys so much for joining the Patreon. Again, if you want to join the Patreon, it's the link below. If you want to join the membership, it is the join button next to the subscribe button. You get cool perks with both of them. One of the perks, and I'm going to be putting that video out soon, is I show you guys how to do what I'm doing. Right? If you want to do YouTube or podcasting or anything, whether it be sports or whatever, I have a little bit of a series going on where I show you guys how I do this stuff, from cameras to editing to framing to lighting to everything. I literally teach you stuff I learned with my bachelor's degree. So if you'd like to join the Discord, not the Discord, but you get a chance to join the Discord when you join the Patreon and the membership. That's another cool thing, a little perk. You get to join the Discord, and on the membership side, you get to become a mod and help me out during the live streams. Because you guys know, if you haven't watched the last few live streams, I've had 1,000 people, and it's just preseason games. So you just imagine what the regular season is going to be like. It gets a little hectic in there, so I need my mods to help me out. But that's all the spiel I got going on for you guys. Let's sit down, chat with Big O, and talk about previewing the season and some of the cuts that happened yesterday. It has been way too long, Big O. I missed you so much. How you doing?
Very too long. Very too long. Too long.
How you doing? Very interesting off season, and now we're going into the regular season. Before anything, how are you doing? What's going on? Anything new? Anything special on your end?
I mean, no, man, we're just grinding along. Show's growing every single day, and looking forward to now our second season on the show, and I'm excited about this season, man. I'm excited about where we're going. It's after all this time. I was talking about this today on our show, that a lot of us are really excited about this season because we're also, we want to win, but we also want to kind of put all these old memories from the last 15, 20 years behind us. And It's like, we're all dying to turn the page and watch the Dolphins become a competent franchise again.
Mm-hmm.
Not just get to the playoffs this year, but be in the mix consistently, like we expect you to be, like us as Heat fans expect them to be in the playoffs and challenging for something every once in a while. We're not telling you to win the title every year or anything, but give us a lot more and get back to being respectable. And I think they're on their way to it finally. I know we've been burned many times thinking this before. But I really like what's gone on. I really like Mike McDaniel, and I think Chris Greer now is, I think he doesn't have things in his way now.
Yeah,
that's stopping him. So,
now you were at camp. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, and my first viewing of Tyreek Hill was a 51-yard bomb. First play. Looking at the offense, because I know the defense it's the same defense we've had for 2 years. Looking at the offense and looking at Tyreek Hill and his connection with Tua and all that stuff, because you were able to see Waddle and Hill and Tua on the field at the same time. What is your take on this offense from what you've seen at training camp?
I don't know how you're going to stop it. Don't know how you're going to stop it. There's so much speed on the field. Mike McDaniel knows how to scheme.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it already in this last playoff game when he started. This last preseason game when he just did a couple of simple things.
Yeah,
played a little high-low on the receiving side, and then kept him off balance at the line at times. I just, with all this, Cedric Wilson is a guy that people don't pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Azukama has become like this hell of a find.
Big
And then you've
body.
got Sherfield, who is consistent as hell, really good receiver. Durham Smythe has really turned into a really solid player. He is smooth in this offense. He is not dynamic.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
We all know that, but he is smooth. He catches everything that's thrown his way. He can block. So he has the element that they need on this offense because the tight end has to be able to stay to block. You've
Mhm.
got to be able to sell that you can block. And that's something that obviously Gesicki, to his credit, he has tried, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
just not who he is.
Yeah.
And then you have the speed coming out of the backfield. And you've got a fullback that is going to be there at times to give you extra protection and help out in that running game. And one of the things that I complained about all last year, and you know it, is play design and play call, that it was
Yes.
so terrible. There was no rhyme or reason. There was just no real advantage to the players. They have that now. And maybe I'm going overboard on this, but I just think that you have all the weapons you kind of need to succeed. And if you have the right coaches, which I think you do, I think this offense can be really, really creative, and they are going to be able to put a lot of points on the board. I'm really excited
Mm-hmm.
about this offense now. I'm really, really excited about Dolphin offense, which is something that you normally cannot say. We only
Not for
say
a long time.
no, we're only ever excited about the defense.
Yes.
Always. You know, Cam Wake, or it's X, or it's Jason Taylor, or whatever over the years. Oh, this is what we're excited about. But the offense outside of Ricky, yeah, I don't remember. I was talking about that today. And I remember the first day of camp, and there were people. Camp was packed, and then there were people all around standing on the fence, all the way around the perimeter, and they took down the green tarp that didn't allow you to see from the street, just so those people can see, because the Dolphins had no idea that many people were going to end up showing up. And we were excited for Ricky in the offense, and sure enough, 1,800 yards. I'm excited for this offense, man. I think it has a lot of weapons.
You saying the whole scheming too, like obviously it was extremely vanilla when it came to preseason, but when I was breaking down the film, especially the Eagles game, you saw it. You saw a lot of plays going to the right and then one person going to the left, and that person being wide open because he took the whole defense away to the other side.
Right.
It's just like the Skylar Thompson touchdown to Saquandre White. He literally had routes running to the right. He had a deep in to the right, and then he had Saquandre go out on a wheel route to the left, wide open.
Mostert. He just had them go shift just a little to the left, and Mostert then outran them for 20 yards to the right.
Exactly.
That's it. It was just like, it's just a little hesitation, because in this league, that's all you need is just a little hesitation, a small window. That's all you're ever going to get, and you better make a play at that moment. And that's exactly what. That's why I think you're going to see. You know, even the linemen, they all look better. Even Austin Jackson,
he did
looks better than he ever did for 2 years now. I'm not telling you he's a finished product. I'm not telling you he's a stud, but I'm telling you he's now serviceable. Now he's actually like, he can do the job now. And that's because you've got real coaching. You know, so I'm as psyched as I've ever been for the Dolphins in this offense. Really am. Really like what I see, man.
And we'll finally get to
I've always been a Tua guy. So I never thought Tua was a problem. Now Tua has what he needs, and now Tua will succeed.
Yeah. And you know, like you just said, we finally get to see Tua. You know, we get to see what he could do, because it's funny. Someone pointed this out on Twitter. Most of his weapons, except for maybe like 2 or 3, are not with the team right now. Like
Waddle last year and Gesicki the last 2,
and Parker's with the Patriots. Other than that, no one's really with the team right now. Bowden's not with the team. Albert Wilson's
those
not.
Guys were injured last year, dude.
And
they didn't. And these idiots didn't even know how to use Gesicki.
Yeah, they kept taking
Not only were the receivers injured, they didn't even play Gesicki enough last year. A team that needs playmakers. And that's the other thing, that Tua doesn't have a dude that's practically sabotaging his ass. And that's the difference.
And I'm hearing good things, really good things about Matt Collins with the Raiders. And you were banging the table. They can go back and watch you banging the table. Why isn't Matt Collins in there more? Why isn't Matt Collins being, utilized more? And now all of a sudden he's doing well with the Raiders. That's not a surprise to
player,
some people.
Man.
Right?
He's a good player.
He's probably their wide receiver too. That's not, well, no, Renfro's their wide receiver too, but that's not a surprise that he's doing
no,
well.
not at all. Now to their credit, they did draft Azukama.
Yes.
And Azukama's kind of the Matt Collins, Devontae Parker dude. Fades, the big receiver, but he also has a little gear. He showed us that he can get behind defenses too. And he's got obviously has a good hand, because he can also make one-handed catches. So to their credit, they did find a guy. Now, I don't know how good he's going to be on special teams like Matt Collins is. He's an excellent special teamer. That's something Devontae Parker doesn't do. But I will say they did replace the big receiver with the 4th round pick. I'll give them credit there, that as much as I love Matt Collins, I'll give him credit. They found Azukama, and that's pretty damn impressive.
It's good. It's a good steal, especially for a 4th round pick.
And cheap for a few years.
Yeah, exactly. Last thing I want to talk about before we get into what happened today for us, yesterday for the people watching this. Cuts happened. Any surprised you? Any really surprised
you? Cameron Good. I thought he'd make the team. Sam Eguavon. I'm a little over, Eguavon. He's a guy that makes plays on preseason games. I think he's a liability as a linebacker. I think he's a lot like Larry Izzo.
Okay.
He's not as good as Izzo was on special teams, but Izzo was an absolute cancer as a linebacker in the regular season. If he had to go in, it would be a negative every single time. And I think that would be the same thing with Eguavon. And so I really like Good. I liked him as a pass rusher. I thought he had some linebacker skills, and he can help on special teams. So I thought there was a lot of versatility to his game. I think they're going to try to sneak him onto the practice squad.
Yeah.
But he's a guy that I'm surprised with. And then I'll go with the receiver, Lynn Bowden Jr.
Okay,
we talked about it, that Craycraft is a more polished receiver right now over Lynn Bowden by miles. It's not even close. When you watch the two play wide receiver, I'm going to take Craycraft over him every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Exactly.
But the return game was the reason why I was going to give him the 6th spot. Now, this tells me, because they're trying to make a move maybe, and maybe they're trying to acquire
51 right now.
Yeah, so they're trying to acquire some kind of a returner or something from somewhere. That's kind of, and Chris Greer, he never makes any trades.
No.
So so he's working the phones right now. He's burning that up. So I think something's going up on that right there. So Craycraft still may not be safe when it's all said and done, but clearly what he did on special teams just wasn't enough to convince him. And for those of you out there going, well, we have Waddle and we have Hill. Yeah, I don't want those guys full time.
No.
I want those guys at the end of a half, the end of a game. You're down by 3.
Exactly.
You're down by 2, down by 6. You need a touchdown. You need field position. Okay, send in the guns.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Great. But
100%.
I want my Miko Hardman, because that's what Kansas City was doing. Hardman was their main returner. And then when they needed juice, they said, hey, bring the steroid in. Tyreek, let's go. So, I get that. If you want to do it with Waddle, you want to do it with Tyreek, I'm good with that in situations.
Exactly.
But I'm not putting the burden of returns and receiver on the two most important players on offense next to the quarterback. I'm not doing that. So that tells me that they got to look for somebody, because who else is left?
Mm-hmm.
If you let go of him, Lynn Bowden, I don't know of another guy. I'm not happy with Iggy as a returner. They let go of Preston Sad Face Williams. You know, all these, there's no other returner out there that I'm interested in right now on the team, unless there's somebody that I don't know of. So I think they're trying to make a move for a returner. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I did my prediction video on Monday where I tried to predict the 53-man roster. I got 44 out of 53 right. So I think the Dolphins should hire me. But I had
40. Did you find those 44 is the question.
Yeah, exactly. Find them and then I'll cut them. That's my job.
I'll cut them or keep them, but you find
But I had Lynn Bowden only for, he was my 6, and I had him for kick punt return.
Right.
Same as you. And my thought process was exactly the same. Dolphins down by 2, whatever. The Dolphin defense pins them in their own 10. They got to punt it to us. Hill, get us to their 40, and we'll run the ball a few times and win the game. Like that's. I don't want Hill or Waddle back there at all.
Sanders is ready to kick you in the ass, and you'll fly like 80 yards because he's on target, bro. He didn't miss a 50+ yard kick in the preseason. He's ready to go. Is it
because he has a good holder now? That's what I'm hearing.
Maybe
Pilardi probably.
Listen, bro, the coaching all around, offensively is just way better. It's just, that a whole different vibe right now.
I've been talking about this all off season, and we have the trade for Tyreek Hill, and then my unsung hero when it came to player acquisition is Alec Ingold. I think he's going to drastically help this offense. But overall, to me, the biggest addition to this team was Darrell Bevell. I think bringing him in and
give a quarterback's coach, yes.
And
you mean you didn't like the guy that he had from 7-on-7s in high school? The guy with no college or NFL experience as a quarterback's coach? The guy that's never groomed a quarterback at the NFL level ever? You mean you'd rather have a guy that's coached Hall of Famers? Is that what you're telling me, Dougie? Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He got a better name too.
I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. Yeah, we'll go with that. Why not?
Barry Jackson I think he said something funny a while back.
Well, we had the Three Stooges arguing between plays before we send it down to Tua. I mean, what the hell is that, bro?
Yeah, Barry Jackson said it was like sending a carrier pigeon with the plays into Tua, where it's like you got from one to another, and then Tua gets it. Now it's just
Mo, Larry, and Curly. Come on, that's what we got going on the entire for 40 seconds, and Tua's like, yo, wait, man, what's going on here? I'm telling you, I said it last year several times. Tua must have gone, dude, I left Alabama for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I was making more money and winning more over there. What the hell's going on? So it's crazy. It really is. He had like real coaching at Alabama, and he walks in and Flo gives him like a couple of bums off the street. Yeah, no, I stopped by Home Depot, picked up a couple of guys. Here's your new coach.
They wanted to do my drywall. I said, no, I need you to coach this quarterback up for me.
Build walls. Okay, let's go. Come on over.
You do electrical. You're gonna be wide receivers coach. We got
this. That's it. That's it. Flo was hiring people fresh out of high school. If you would have kept him around this year, he would have gone down to coaches in the 120 pounds somewhere in some little league somewhere. Yeah, he was undefeated in a little league, so he's going to coach our offensive line this year. Yeah.
Now,
Liam Pierre, whatever his name is.
I forgot his name.
Pierre, whatever. He's now an intern.
Mm-hmm. Which he's
okay.
Which
is great, by the way. Which is perfect. I love that he was smart enough to understand and say, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to learn. You know what I mean? So for anybody that thinks he's really coaching, he's like a slight step above quality control coach, right now. He's learning the new system, learning how they teach and all of that, because what Mike McDaniel's doing is he knows he eventually will lose his current coaches. So maybe you can groom somebody for the future down the line. So he hangs around Applebaum, he hangs around Frank, he hangs around McDaniel. and then he learns the way they think and the way they go about, finding linemen and teaching them. And then you hope that he can be, a guy you groom for down the line. So they did the right thing. But think about that. The guy you had last year leading your offensive line is good enough to be an intern this year.
And it's not a knock on him. Like this is where he should have been last year.
Right.
He should have been learning.
Dude, you want to hire me as CEO of IBM? I'll take the effing job, bro.
Exactly.
I know the check that comes with it. I don't care if you call me an idiot a month in or 6 months in. We've lost lots of money. You're a terrible hire. I'm going to say, yeah, but look at my fat ass bank account, bitch. I'm just going to take the job. And you're going to tell the guy's not going to take the job. Hell no, you take the job and take the challenge. And if you fail, you fail, bro. You never succeed if you're afraid of failing.
Exactly.
That's life.
Exactly.
That's life.
What is your thoughts on the defense? We'll flip it to the other side. We're comfortable with the defense, but the whole the biggest question is the 2020 and the 2021 defense, right? Well, the second half 2021 defense. Who was it? That's the biggest question. Are you comfortable with Josh Boyer as the caller, or do you think it had a lot to do with Brian Flores?
We'll find out. I mean, the report from Marcel Louis-Jacques was that Flo wasn't even talking to his coaches after Thanksgiving. So, and it wasn't him. The other guys were coaching. And Josh Boyer was adamant that he made the calls. So if he made the calls, I don't think he would be lying about that if he didn't make the calls. He probably would have stayed quiet.
Yeah.
Probably what it would have done. But when he stands up to say, no, I made the calls, then, nobody said he lied. I didn't see anybody come out and say he lied, actually. But listen, in the end, it's his show now, so he's going to have to prove it.
Exactly.
He has the talent. He has enough guys to have success overall. He's got a nice group of pass rushers. Once you get AVG back from the what is it? The appendicitis, right?
Yeah, you got it removed.
Yeah, the appendectomy, right? Once you get him back, now you've got a good group of pass rushers. I think the key is not really the defense.
No.
Key is the offense. Because if you're able to score more points, your defense is going to be better. If you have more leads, your defense is going to be better. If you're actually able to run the ball some, you don't have to be dominant, but you have to be serviceable, and I think they will be, then your defense is not on the field nearly as much. So what I think is actually going to improve the defense, of course, it's going to be your young safety in his second year, and Brandon Jones also growing, and your defensive end and Phillips also growing, and all those kind of things. Christian Wilkins, I think, is headed for another breakout season.
Yeah.
Not just tackles, but I think he's going to be more of a disruptor now in there. So I know that the young players on defense from within can already get better and make them better, but I really believe that the offense is going to be the true catalyst to helping that defense be fresher and be more effective throughout a game.
Yeah.
Because they're not getting worn out because they have to carry the team all the time and save your ass and make a play and all that. I think this is a team that's they're going to have leads now, and this defense will then take advantage of those leads by pressuring teams and forcing them into bigger mistakes that will then create bigger leads. So in the end, they can improve from within because they have several young players that can improve. But ultimately, the offense is going to be its best friend and giving them an even bigger advantage when they're out on the field.
Yeah, I remember last year, Omar Kelly brought up the fact that this defense thrives with a lead. So you hit the nail on the head that, we can, if we drop 41 on somebody, I understand we weren't playing their starters, but still we dropped. It was at one point it was 41-3. Like,
dude, organization is what I see.
That's
all I care about. When I'm watching this team, Skylar Thompson, your third quarterback, is well prepared.
Oh yeah.
That's coaching. That's what I see. I see an offensive line playing way better than it did last year. They made a choice on 5 guys, and there was no change. They stuck to those 5 guys. And if you watch them, Some of them got better. Some of them got more comfortable. Connor switched over positions, and there have been some, slightly high snaps, but
Yeah.
they're not going over his head. They're not holy rollers or nothing like that. And in the game, he actually didn't really have any bad snaps. So overall, you're seeing coaching. You're seeing players improve. Ezukama's a rookie receiver and looks comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So these are things, these are signs that your coaching is reaching your players and they're more productive and they're organized. Something that I did not see at all last year. I did not see the proper organization on offense. That's why you can't tell me who calls the plays, because you were so paranoid about your decision. And that's why you had to change who calls plays in the middle of the season. That's because you don't know what you're doing. Now you have a group of men that know exactly what they're doing, and it shows out there on the field, because what I'm watching on offense does not resemble anything to what I saw last year.
Last thing I'm going to talk about, and it's something that I found very interesting, and it happened the past, a new addition happened recently, but it seems like the Dolphins are all, like, obviously they're building something, but it seems like they're all in for this year. And for me, it really shows with bringing in Melvin Ingram and bringing in Trey Flowers, where it's like, they are not, they're not like, oh, we're in a process and we're gonna keep. No, they're like, playoffs. We're getting in the playoffs this year. And we noticed that, okay, we need to add pieces here and there. All right, why not add some of, veteran?
Dougie, they have no choice. They have zero choice on this. Brian Flores wasted the last 2 years effing around with the offense and not being able to figure it out. And it took 2 years away from them to try to figure out Tua.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have figured out Tua a little bit myself, because when you're the least sack quarterback in the NFL with the worst line and no running game, I think you've got a pretty good awareness in the backfield.
Yeah.
When you're the most sacked quarterback with 2 running backs and an offensive line in Ryan Tannehill,
concrete feet.
Okay, like the guy with a line and not one, not 2 running backs. Okay, because when Henry went down, Foreman was 1,000 times better than anything Miami had. Not 1,000, 10,000. He ran like Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
He had the hair like Derrick Henry. Okay, I mean, so, and that guy was the most sacked quarterback. So you ruined those 2 years. Well, guess what, dude? You got to pay him by year 4. So they're now on fast track. So the next 2 years, they've got to go out and try to win to find out, okay, this is the guy. Let's move forward. And you got to try to go all out, because if you can win it all before you got to pay him, that's even better, because it's a hell of a lot harder to win once you got to start paying your quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that they want to avoid, and they wanted to avoid it from the get-go. But when you have a coach that says, no, we don't need Eric Flowers, he's an experienced lineman. Let me put an inexperienced guard, because that'll be fun for Tua Tagovailoa. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't want to deal with that shit anymore, and that was their fault. They hired Flores. They paid the price. Okay, now you got rid of him. Now you got a guy that came in and is working with you. He's not crazy about, oh my God, I got to have this player. I got to have that player. I know personnel. You don't. That's not him. Okay. And just because I've mentioned this before, I think I've mentioned it on this show. They asked Flores when they hired him, are you going to be your own man and not Bill Belichick? And he said, yes, I'm going to be my own man. He became Bill Belichick. Okay. Just like McDaniel did in Denver, just like Patricia did in Detroit. All these idiots, the guy that went to New York and now is back, all the children leave the nest. They all fail, like some of your kids out there that can't find their way, and then we got to bring them back home again. Yeah, it'll be all right. One day you'll learn how to keep a job. That kind of stuff. And so, this is now they have to fast track this shit. And they've got to try to find out what they have in the next 2 years, and they've got to find out in important situations. Just getting to the playoffs is not They've done that for 20 years.
Mm.
That they get there every once in a while and then they get spanked and sent home. And then, hey, we'll be back in 8 years. We'll see you later.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
and so they've done that before. It's not about that. They want to know if they have a team and a quarterback that can get them there back again and again. So the next 2 years is imperative to find out if you not only can win, but can you win in the playoffs?
Yes.
And let me put this quarterback in a position that he has to win. Well, now he's in a position because he's got all the weapons. He's got the coaches. Go win. Now get us in the playoffs. Let me see if you can win in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff. I had an idiot today on the show. Well, if Justin Herbert was here, he'd take him to the Super Bowl. And then I said to him, well, how come he didn't take the Chargers last year to the playoffs with a better team than Miami? A lot of people are in love with physical talent.
Yeah.
Physical talent doesn't get you to the Super Bowl and win you the Super Bowl.
Mm-mm.
Lots of quarterbacks have physical talents and they can't get there and they can't figure it out. It's about winning in big moments and big games. Over the next 2 years, Tua Tagovailoa must get to the playoffs,
Yes.
must win some games,
Yes.
so they can finally make a determination. This is a franchise quarterback, not a game manager. Let's pay him and let's go for it. So that's why you're seeing them trying to build a team that they don't just want to get to the playoffs. They need to get deep into the playoffs. Remember, they won 9 or 10 games the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You have a better offensive staff that should result in a couple of extra wins and hopefully the playoffs.
Big O, it's fantastic chatting with you again. Again, we're just so people know,
we're going to do it twice a week this year, folks. One on this channel, one on my channel. So we'll do one early in the week to recap the game, and then we'll do one late in the week to preview the game. So you're going to get a double dose this year on both channels. So please go over to our channel, Big O Radio Show, and subscribe, por favor, and we'll have some fun. And for those, maybe you're new to Doug's channel and you didn't know about our segment, but we also have the best Dolphin insiders on the planet exclusively on our platform. So every week you catch 4 Dolphin insiders on our our platform, including myself. I'm the 5th guy. And so there you go. And follow us on Twitter at Big O Show.
Yes, sir. All right, Big O. I will see you the start of a regular season next week, pretty much.
Yes. Can't wait, bro.
All right,
we will get it go. We'll preview on my channel next Friday. That's what we'll do.
Sounds good, bud.
Next Friday, you'll go on our channel and we'll preview the game. There you go.
Good.
All right, Doug, much love, my brother. Appreciate you.
Take it easy.